Well, this weekend's immigration raid protests led to dozens of arrests, with a handful of law enforcement officers injured.
And California is taking legal action over President Trump's National Guard deployment. Kimberly Chang is live in downtown LA with an update for us. Hi, Kimberly.
Lou, Glenn, hi. Just in the last 20 minutes or so, we've seen this large group really gather behind us of protesters. They're telling us that this is members of clergy who have gathered here to protest the National Guard presence. Now, we're going to take a pan over to our left where you can see the National Guard presence here in front of a federal building. And I do want to apologize in advance if you see any expletives on the wall. There's a lot of graffiti on these buildings. I want to mention that CNN has reported that 500 Marines based out of the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center have been mobilized and are planning to join the National Guard troops that were activated by President Trump over the weekend. Okay, we're hearing a lot of screaming, so our photographer is kind of moving forward to see what is going on beyond this large crowd here. If you could take us back live. We're hearing a lot of noise. We're seeing some things being thrown in the air at a vehicle that just drove by toward the federal building. Now back here live, you can see as we just take a look at the scene here, large crowd has gathered here in downtown Los Angeles. You have LAPD here right in front of us. And just down the street, again, this crowd protesting the National Guard troops just down the street. Okay, we're going to move out of the roadway here because you can see this vehicle coming in, protesters surrounding these vehicles that are coming in to this area right now. And you can see some people right now kicking and throwing things. We're going to move back. We're going to move back. We're going to move back. We see people with objects that they're throwing and hitting these vehicles, which look like federal vehicles that are going in here toward the federal building. We're trying to take a step back here so you guys can see this scene, but we want to stay safe as well. I'm trying to watch our photographer here as he's giving you these images. You can see here, U.S. Customs and Border Protection vehicles driving in towards the federal building here. And just a few seconds ago, you see people throwing things and hitting these cars that are trying to make their way in. Again, a lot of expletives being shouted right now. Earlier this morning, there were smaller groups. This group really just gathered here in the last 30 minutes or so. You guys, of course, they have been protesting the ongoing ICE raids. Right now, they're shouting, you can hear them shouting shame as the U.S. Customs and Border Protection vehicles are trying to make their way in right now. Earlier, I spoke with a woman who said that they were planning on holding peaceful protests out here. She said that there were members of clergy out here and they wanted to remain peaceful. Let me see if we could walk up here and try and grab, let's go this way. Let's walk this way, Rolo. I'm trying to guide Rolo here so you can see what's happening here in the crowd as we try to make our way to speak to one of the organizers here. Julia, hi. Hi, Julia. You're on live right now with KTLA. You came up to me earlier. You said that members of clergy were here to peacefully demonstrate. Talk to us about what your message is here right now, and then also your reaction right now as we see those vehicles coming in, people throwing things at these vehicles. Talk to us about what was happening there right now.
Okay, let me get someone who can talk to you.
I'm so sorry.
Can you speak?
Sure. Hi there.
Live with KTLA
Wonderful.
right now.
Glad to be here.
We just saw the vehicles coming in.
Correct.
We heard some people throwing things
Yes.
and shouting expletives. Talk to us about your message here and then your reaction to just what we
Sure.
saw.
I'm here with a group of clergy, and we're here to peacefully ask where the families are. ¿Dónde están los niños? Where are the people who have been detained? We're also here peacefully to support the right to protest, and we're here to help keep a peaceful presence for folks. So we understand people are very angry and very upset, and we're here to provide a non-anxious presence so that people can gather, they can express themselves, be here as part of a unified group of people who are asking for the sacred work and the sacred ability to be together united to support all of our families, immigrant or otherwise, here in LA and the LA region.
We're going to check in with Gil Levis. He's up in Sky 5.
That's right, Lou and Glenn, you're looking at the last vehicles there entering that Metro Detention Center with the National Guard vehicles and troops there, along with federal agents. You can see it, we believe this is a mobile field force. I'm not sure if that's LAPD. I believe it is LAPD that's going northbound on Alameda. Some more there that are going to bolster that skirmish line that we saw the vehicles go through. Here's the crowd here, about 50 demonstrators or protesters at the scene here. And as you saw, they were kicking the first of the vehicles and striking those vehicles as they were entering. But LAPD there now bolstering their skirmish line here as those vehicles are now back inside the detention center.
Okay, Gil. Hey, Gil, a little bit of a clarification. I know, city and state officials are saying that, local law enforcement is not to cooperate with ICE, but that's actually not what they're doing here. It's like when the crowds show up, they're basically just trying to do crowd control, which actually has nothing to do with the ICE operations, correct?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Crowd and traffic control as well. We do see a team of, you can't see them right now, but a team of CHP officers that are blocking the on-ramp to the southbound 101 freeway that we saw yesterday, where the protesters made it down the on-ramp there off of Los Angeles Street. They are there blocking that on-ramp right now. I can't tell you if there's any other CHP. We did spot that as we came over here, but we can't tell you that if any of the on or off ramps are shut down other than that one that we saw just a short time ago. But again, only about 50 or so protesters here, and LAPD doing crowd control and traffic control only.
Yes, and we also heard that Kimberly was interviewing a couple of people on the street there, where they were joined by members of clergy who have actually shown up to ask for the release of the union president, and also to voice their rights, their legal rights to a peaceful protest. Then we lost audio with Kimberly there. At the same time, there is a rally going on at Grand Park that we've been covering most of the morning as well, asking for the release of David Huerta. As of now, that protest has been very peaceful, very calm. It looks like what got agitated here was the vehicles coming in from immigration, and that agitated some of these protesters. And as we saw, that one gentleman striking one of the vehicles and people yelling expletives. But it looks like LAPD has moved in here blocking that. And it looks also too, some of these protesters are holding hands, doing a human blockchain across the pathway there on the street.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like there might be a rabbi there in the center of your picture. They're all holding hands here at the front of the line of the skirmish line. It is mostly peaceful. We did spot this group a short time ago, and they were doing exactly this. It wasn't until those vehicles showed up that it got a little heated, and but now those vehicles are well inside the facility there, and at the same time, LAPD sent a couple of more field forces here to bolster that line.
All right, we've established our audio signal with Kimberly Chang, who is down there on the street among these protesters. Kimberly, can you hear us okay?
Hi, we're back here with a group of protesters here in downtown Los Angeles. As I mentioned, they gathered here just a half hour. Tell us your name.
Sure, I'm the Reverend Omega Burkhart. I serve Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Church in Pasadena.
Thank you. You were here holding hands right now. You say that your goal here is a peaceful protest. Talk to us about what your message is.
Sure. I'm here part of an interfaith group of clergy from all over the Los Angeles region. We're here to show that protesting peacefully is one of our sacred rights as humans. We're here to support this community, our broader community here. Sure. Wait. Sorry. There's a car coming in the middle of the road. We're gonna back up. Rolo, let me back you up this way. I just want to make sure our photographer is safe.
They trying to paint y'all out to be a bad.
Rolo, come this way. Okay, things are changing so quickly, guys. So I want to make sure that our photographer here, Rolo, is safely a distance away. As you can see, people are throwing things as these vehicles are coming by. earlier we did see people throwing things at these federal vehicles, as well as slamming objects into them. So we just want to make sure that we're keeping a safe distance. Thank you, Reverend, for walking over here. Okay, we're seeing the scene around us here, and I wanted to talk to you again about, you said this is a peaceful protest. That is the goal. Talk to us about
That is the goal. Our clergy is here to help provide spiritual support for the people who are protesting. We understand people are upset and angry, and they have every right to be. We really do understand that. I feel that as well. But we're here to show that we can protest this peacefully as a people united in our faith, whatever tradition that might be. And we're here to support the people in their anger and their frustration, because we are all interconnected, and we want to be here for that support.
We saw just a few moments ago when we were live on air, people throwing things. One man had an umbrella and he was hitting those vehicles as they were trying to make their way towards that federal building. We also saw yesterday the scene unfolding as many protesters were peaceful, but the agitators, there was violence. Talk to us about your reaction as you're seeing this.
Sure, I see it. I understand it. I think our fellow clergy members see it and understand it. We feel the fear. We understand that deep anxiety about the situation that's happening. And what we're here today is to really show that we can be united in that. We're supporting the people who are here protesting as well. So we're here to support them. So that's spiritual support, that is accompaniment, that is witness as well. So we are not, as clergy, we are not actively engaging that way, but we're trying to create a safe line behind which people can gather safely and express their anger and their frustration at the situation.
And of course, people have been protesting the ongoing ICE raids. With all of the stuff that we saw yesterday, that is taking away from your message. That's why you're saying you want this to be peaceful. Talk to us about the message.
Right. I don't think that we're not taking away from anyone's message. I think that there are lots of different ways people are protesting and showing dissatisfaction with what's happening. As clergy, this is how I show up to support. This is how my fellow clergy members, other people show up in different ways. We're creating an environment where people can see that we are united, we're supportive. We are here as faith members to show the sacred ways that we can gather and support the anger and the frustration of the people in this community.
And then earlier, before our audio cut out, we were taking a look at the National Guard right in front of the federal building there, and you were saying that presence does not need to be here.
That presence doesn't need to be here, and in fact, I think a lot of the agitation and the violence that's happening is precisely because of the arrival. People see that, they become more afraid, whereas when we arrived first here a little while ago, it was actually quite peaceful. We were gathered in prayer, we were gathered arm in arm, hand in hand, and that changed as soon as that presence escalated.
So much, Reverend. Appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. And you're taking a look here around us. You can see some of the protesters who have come out here carrying these signs, like this sign right in front of us here says immigrants, 80% of our agriculture workforce. Can we speak with you? We're with KTLA. I wanted to find out, why are you taking part in this protest today? Your message?
Yeah, I can't speak on behalf of the whole movement, obviously, but for myself personally, a huge part of my community is the immigrants there. A lot of them are undocumented. They're the people who take care of us in our nursing homes. I'm a CNA. All my coworkers are immigrants almost. Those are the people I went to school with. Those are the people I grew up with. My grandparents were immigrants. This is our community. This is Los Angeles. These are the people who feed us. These are the people who make our city what it is.
Were you here over the weekend as well, or is this your first day out?
Today is the first day I was able to make it.
Yesterday, were you looking at the images that were on TV of the protests that got out of hand?
I saw some of it, yes.
What was your reaction? This is your city.
Obviously, there are always, when there's chaos, there are people who take advantage of the chaos to create more chaos, and I think it's unfortunate that that happens. Obviously, that's not what we're aiming for. Everybody here right now is peaceful. We're standing for the people who we care about, and I think that's important.
As these protests continue, talk to us about what your message is for your community, the community out there.
I think for me personally, my message is just I care about the people in our community and I don't want them taken away from us.
Thank you very much. And what is your name?
I don't think I should say that. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking with us. Appreciate it. Do you want to talk about why you decided to come out here and join the protest today?
I can't speak on behalf of a movement. I'm only one individual out here because I love my community and I'm proud to love my community, and I don't think people should be stolen from their homes or their loved ones.
Thank you so much. And what is your name?
I won't be sharing that, sorry.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to walk through this crowd here so you can see, I would say maybe a few dozen people out here right now. Walk over this way so we could give you a look at what's happening here. So you have LAPD right here in the front. This is off of Alameda and Commercial Street where we are. And then just beyond that, again, you can see the National Guard there in front of the federal building there. And if you take a look around us here, you can see just several dozen people who have gathered here. Again, as some of the protesters were telling us, they are trying to keep it peaceful at this point. For now, we're going to send it back to you in the studio.
Right, Kimberly, obviously we're going to keep up these images from downtown. We do have some breaking news that you had mentioned a few minutes ago, but we are referencing here CNN confirming that 500 Marines now have been deployed to Los Angeles. President Trump not only deploying the 2,000 National Guardsmen, now 500 Marines being deployed to Los Angeles. They are expected to arrive over the next 24 hours, according to a U.S. official. And they're the 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines at 29 Palms, California. And they will be prepared to deploy in that status, and they'll be here in the next 24 hours.
All right, let's get back up to Gil Levis in Sky 5. Gil?
Well, Glenn and Lou, you're looking at that crowd, a couple dozen protesters out here. The LAPD with their skirmish line, it's been bolstered by more officers that arrived. We saw that that escort of vehicles going into the detention center here. You can see the National Guard vehicles and troops there, along with federal agents out in front of that facility right now. The vehicles made their way inside of that facility. We had one last van that came through. There was not much of a conflict with that last van, but we did see a couple of the protesters going after the first vehicles that came here. But the religious people that are out here, they stepped in and cleared the way, calmed things down, made that opening possible for those vehicles. And then once those vehicles made their way in, the LAPD skirmish line closed back up again, and it has been peaceful ever since. So at this point, this protest underway here on Alameda and Commercial, with it being mostly peaceful at this point. That's the latest overhead up in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Gil. And you mentioned the phrase "mostly peaceful." I think it was a positive sign in some sense. We saw that one vehicle trying to turn on the street, and there was a protester who stood in front of the vehicle, for about a minute or so. Police officers came in, took him away. He did not resist, which was a good sign compared to what we saw last Friday, where one of the vehicles was actually moving and some man put his hands on the hood of the vehicle and started backpedaling, and he ended up getting himself injured. So the fact that cooler heads on both sides compared to last Friday, compared to what we saw just about 10 minutes ago, that's certainly a much more positive sign that maybe that things are starting to slow down a little bit here, at least at this time of day. We don't know what's going to happen later, but at least at this point, this protest, everybody's reasonably calm.
Well, and I also think because of the different faiths, there's a rabbi, and there's the Christian faith, the Jewish faith, everyone's represented down here, basically in downtown, holding hands, basically praying and saying they are there supporting these protesters in their frustration, their legal right to protest. And so hopefully just having the presence of their calm and leadership will help in terms of those protests at this particular point. We also do have the other protest that is happening, and not really even a protest, it's just a rally basically happening at Grand Park. And that is where they basically are asking for the release of the union president, David Huerta. And no word from that area, which it sounds great
yes,
that they're there
now.
protesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's check in with Kimberly Chang again, who's on the ground there. Kimberly, chanting and singing now?
Yes, now the members of clergy are lining up and, turn around. Something happening here. People in the background here shouting peace. this man just walked up and LAPD telling him to move the other way, and you can see him shouting words. We're a little bit of a distance, so we can't hear exactly what he's saying. But then you have someone going over there now to say, keep it peaceful. I saw you walk. I'm with KTLA. We're on live right now. I just saw you walking over there, and you were saying something. What were you saying?
I was saying nobody needs to get shot today. Nobody needs to get harmed today. We can stand here and do our First Amendment right and non-violently protest them ripping apart our families, them taking away our loved ones. That this is black, brown solidarity. This is all religious faith coming together. Saying this is our Los Angeles, and everyone deserves to be free in this city.
What is your name and who are you with?
I'm Reverend Eddie Anderson. I'm with LA Voice and CLUE, but I'm here as an Angelino, as a concerned citizen who believes that no one is illegal in this city. This is a sanctuary city, and so until we uphold that, we will be here.
Okay, and we saw you earlier in line here leading this group, clapping, singing. What was the message as they were holding this peaceful rally here right behind us?
Our message is this: where are our families? We want David Huerta freed as well, and we want to make sure that ICE is out of our city. That they escalated it with bringing the National Guard here, but we know in Los Angeles that we can fight for justice and for peace, and that's our message for today.
Thank you for taking the time to chat with me. Appreciate it. I'm going to walk over here, Rabbi Susan Goldberg.
That's right.
And who are you with?
We're here together with an organization called CLUE that does beautiful support of immigrants in Los Angeles for many, many years. It's a group of clergy and laity. I'm also here as a rabbi, representing the deepest values of the Jewish community. I am a rabbi at Nefesh, which is a Jewish community on LA's east side. And we're here bearing witness to the deepest values of our faith that are about compassion, that are about love, that are about care and support for the most vulnerable in our society. Our Torah, our Bible, our sacred texts tell us, take care of the most vulnerable. It's the most repeated commandment inside of our Torah, to take care of the widow, the orphan, and the stranger, and to treat them as family and to take care of them. We're also here as clergy because we are seeing today that as clergy are present, we're able to help keep a peaceful environment. We want our voices to be heard, and we want it to be done peacefully. There are many Angelinos in the city who are heartbroken. We listened today of families, kids, who on Friday saw their parents, not just with handcuffs, but they said saw their parents with chains wrapped around their wrists and their ankles. They saw their law-abiding parents, their fathers and uncles and brothers picked up in the Garment District, chained together, and they are traumatized. And now they can't reach them. Our main question today, the reason why we came here, was to ask, where are these families? ICE is refusing to provide information. We've heard different stories. We know some of them are at a detention center in Adelanto. We know some of them are being transferred, and we're not being told. The information that the children and the families told us today is it feels as if, and if you look at it, it certainly looks like their families have been kidnapped. The local state, the city, Mayor Bass has said we are not asking for this. The Governor Newsom has said we are not asking for this. So there's a militarization that has invaded Los Angeles, and it's not what our city wants. People all across LA do not want this. So we are a small representative of the people of faith and all peoples of conscience who are compassionate people who do not want families rounded up and taken.
We see the National Guard here, and earlier we said that CNN is reporting that Marines are going to be joining the National Guard. And when you hear that, what is your reaction?
Yeah, I did not know that. That is very sad to hear, but again, is part of this militarization. It feels like a very horrible show that Trump is doing to say, not just anywhere, but of course in California, we are going to punish you and we're going to terrorize you. He had some idea about rounding up the worst criminals. These folks are not criminals. They're law-abiding, immigrants who are trying to be citizens. Many of them have gone to court for their appointments and then were arrested when they were following the law. This is a show of military might to try and scare us, is what he said he was going to do, and he's doing it. But also, we are people of great love, infinite compassion and love. We are not going to be scared because we know we are standing with the deepest values of our ancient faiths.
And when we take a look right behind you, we can see people here singing earlier, holding hands in solidarity, keeping things peaceful. What is going to be the next step for you out here at this protest?
Well, we don't know yet. We are again here non-violently and peacefully, just bearing witness. That is our plan, to stay peaceful and non-violent.
Thank you, Rabbi. Appreciate it. We're going to walk over here because we can see a conversation happening now. Let's take a listen in.
We want to make sure that LA stays a sanctuary city.
That I get.
That you all do not help the feds at all.
We don't.
But that we stand together.
Yes.
That you're protecting the protesters
Yes.
from those who are trying to.
We are protecting your protesters, yes.
Okay.
Okay?
We're good to go.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. By the way, you guys handled the guy that was trying to break through the line. I appreciate that.
We got it.
I appreciate that.
We got it. Nobody needs to get shot today.
No, we're not going to shoot anybody.
All right.
You can see that conversation that just happened here between LAPD. I wanted to catch up with you again because I see you having a conversation there with the officer.
We were making sure that they know that this is a sanctuary city and that we expect LAPD not to cooperate with the federal government. We expect them to protect protesters and not the feds when we're doing our protesting right, and that all of us need to be out here together, and that no one needs to get shot. There's no need for lethal force. That they've been escalating the situation, but today we declare moral victory in this place, and we're declaring that they have to pick a side. Whose side are you on? The side of the people of Los Angeles, or are you on the side of the government that's trying to rip apart our families? And today we demand that they stand on the side of the people.
And what was his response to you? We came in at the end of that.
His response to me was that LAPD will not collaborate with ICE. He told us that they will not shoot anybody today, that we are allowed to peacefully protest here in this space, and they gave us their word that they are defending the protesters and not going to defend the feds. If they break that law, then it's on their conscience and their soul.
Thank you for updating us. And I hear you.
But they're facing us, right? And they got gas, guns, and all this other stuff, whatever you call those things, right? So how is it they're on our side?
They're not.
Right? They're not on our side.
Talk to us about you personally, why you decided to be here today. Talk to us about your thoughts.
Well, first of all, in the scripture and in my faith tradition, it says the two greatest commandments is to love the Lord thy God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself, right? And they can't be separated. You have to do them together, right? You can't go in your closet and say, I love God. No, in order to love God, I have to love you first because you were created in the image of God in my faith tradition, right? So I'm here today because it's a moral obligation for me to be here. And then when you hear about little children, when you hear about a little girl who has cancer being deported while she's, undergoing treatment for brain cancer, come on, man, that is not morality, right? So to me, the people who are doing this, they don't have a moral conscience. We're sitting here trying to appeal to their moral conscience, but I know in my heart they don't have a moral conscience. I know their conscience is seared like a steak.
What is your name and who are you with?
I'm Pastor Q. I am with CLU, Clergy and Laity United for Economic Justice, and I also pastor the Church Without Walls in Skid Row.
Pastor, and what is the next step for you out here during this protest, which for the most part has remained peaceful?
Well, we have strategies. We really don't want to say what they are, but we know that Union President David Huerta is being, arraigned today at 1:30 or whatever. He's going to court today, so we want to stand with him because the people we have to stand together. And we know that the Trump administration is to me has the spirit of the Antichrist, and we have to fight against that. As clergy.
Thanks for taking the time to talk with us, Pastor. Okay, we're going to take a walk around here and see who else we can speak with out here at this protest. So just to recap, this started maybe in this last hour or so. We saw this large group of dozens of people, many clergy members who came down here to downtown Los Angeles to peacefully protest. Many of them saying that that they want to fight for immigrant rights. Let's take a walk over here and see if we could talk to some of the people who are here. Hi, hello. We're with KTLA. We wanted to talk to you and find out your message, why you're here personally, why you decided to come in and join us.
Well, my daughter and I feel strongly about families that get separated when this happens, and we feel like immigrants are the backbone of our country, certainly of California, certainly in Los Angeles, and we believe that most of the people that are being rounded up right now are innocent, hardworking people who have as much right to live and be free and make a living.
Taxes in our country.
And raise children, and we just see people coming through here and imagining where's the rest of their family, how are they being treated in there, and what's next for them, and are they getting any kind of a process, or are they just being tossed out? And I don't understand when most of the people here, especially in Los Angeles, don't want them tossed out. Who gets to say that? If it's a democracy, we should get to say that, and this is our city.
Earlier, CNN was reporting that Marines are coming out here to join the National Guard. I know a lot of people here were saying they don't agree with the National Guard.
We don't need it. They made it worse. When they arrived yesterday, things got worse. Because most people here are peaceful. We're all here with a peaceful message. And to bring in a group of people who are trained to handle really majorly violent situations and disasters, this is neither of those. So we don't need them here, and we don't want them here. And they come with a message that none of us want to be part of.
Were you out here yesterday during the protests when things
No, and I know that happened. Yes, yep, I know that happened, but I also know that was partly instigated by the presence of the National Guard. And I do think it's, look, one bad apple shouldn't spoil, I can't remember the expression. One bad apple doesn't spoil the group, doesn't spoil the bushel. But yeah, that's going to happen, and that happens everywhere. That happens at soccer games, that happens at baseball games when two fans get into an argument. But the majority of people down here on all of the days have been here to have their voices heard, and the National Guard feels like they're here to not allow us to do that.
What is your name and what city are you from?
My name is Lenore, and I live in Los Angeles.
Thank you, Lenore. Appreciate your time. Okay, we hear an announcement being made on the loudspeaker. We're getting closer so we can take a listen.
We also don't want anybody getting hurt. We are respectfully asking that you continue with your event. All we're asking is that you make your way to the sidewalks. That is for your safety and to ensure the flow of traffic. That is all we're asking for. That is all we're asking for. All we are asking is that you make your way towards the sidewalks. We need to keep the street open for traffic, and we want to avoid anyone getting hurt by a vehicle. That is all we're asking for at this time. And thank you so much. We are here to support your First Amendment right. You have a right to be here. We're only asking that you do it lawfully. For your safety and for the flow of traffic, all we're asking for is that you make your way to the sidewalks and continue there. That is all we're asking for you to do.
Okay, you heard LAPD on the loudspeaker just now asking this crowd of, I would say, a few dozen people to move out of the intersection away from the street and to walk onto the sidewalks to continue the protest. And then you can hear people in the crowd saying, no, they're not moving. So again, you heard from several members of clergy speaking to us about their message here as they continue this protest. We'll continue to talk with people. For now, we're going to send it back to you in the studio.